Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an accomplished entrepreneur from the UAE, Jean Zarina John. Jean, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ashutosh.
Jean
Your
is,
channel.
Thank you. Jean is the co-founder and managing director of Betserlife.com, an expert opinion teleconsulting platform. This homemaker turned entrepreneur believes in doing business with compassion and care. So, Jean, let's talk about Betserlife.com. Tell me about this venture and your motivation to start it.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for this wonderful question. Betserlife.com is a teleconsulting platform. It provides expert opinion on demand.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy to use and a secure app where users can consult with human experts, which includes doctors, lawyers, architects, chartered accountants, and consultants, all verified professionals.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what was your motivation to start this venture?
This is a beautiful question, which takes back to my childhood days, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So me, myself being born and brought up abroad and living away from my hometown many times in my life, I went through a lot of situations where I needed access
Mm-hmm.
to experts to get an opinion on many important decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, these decisions, they led to medical, legal, it can even come to money matter, advice regarding house and property.
Mm-hmm.
So usually as an NRI or people who live abroad, what happens? They look forward for a vacation. They delay all these things to go back to their hometown to execute this. And we know how difficult it is to find a reliable expert and execute this in a very short time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when we thought there would be so many people who would want such kind of services.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the key thing. And before I tell you this, I should also add that, there is something which I was always looking forward in my life to find a purpose. And by nature, I love it's a nature of myself to find situations where I can help people find the right access of expert and doctors to them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when I found that this would be a channel where it would be an extension of myself where I could contribute.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we spoke to many of our friends and we did a quick survey among different countries. And to our surprise, they all voiced the same need. So what they said is that if you can bring trustable experts to us
Mm-hmm.
at a very affordable rate and bringing close to us at the comfort of our home through a platform, why not? So that is exactly where we took the support from family, friends, key advisors, and I took this major decision.
Wonderful.
Now with this startup, we wish to positively impact many lives with the help of different experts on different categories.
Very interesting. And what have been your challenges and learnings as you have scaled up?
Actually, Ashutosh, we haven't scaled up yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of learnings and challenges I have faced in my journey so far. One of the key thing is the mindset changes from a homemaker to an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
To testing the idea
Mm-hmm.
and gathering the support from family and friends is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the key challenges building a team where I find people who can complement the gaps in my skills is one of the major challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as a team, as a Betser team, one ongoing challenge we face every day is
Mm-hmm.
convincing and onboarding the best doctor and experts. It's
Mm-hmm.
not at all an easy task.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest learning, I should say, it's a humble learning.
Mm-hmm.
Running a business requires a broad set of skills.
Hmm. Very interesting. And, when I was reading about you, how are you using technology to bridge the gap between experts and clients?
We are a tech and a service company providing a platform like Uber, and which is cloud hosted and HIPAA compliant. Now, here what happens is that users are connecting with the consultants for expert opinion. If one wants to achieve this, what usually they do? They use Google, they use multiple apps, email, phone, name it, WhatsApp, calendar reminders, payment gateways, Zoom.
Hmm.
So this is where Betser makes it so easy,
Hmm.
bringing all of the apps under one single platform.
Interesting. Which markets are you focusing on currently, and what are your plans for expanding coverage?
Right now, this is a D2C business, and we are focusing on non-resident Indians and families or anyone away from their hometowns. In the first phase, we focus on the Middle East region, US and Canada. As you rightly said, yes, once we establish with a sufficient geographical density of experts and users, we are planning to expand to other geographies with the help of local partnerships.
Okay.
Yeah.
And moving on, you are handling a very large range of specialities.
Yes.
What is the process you follow to select the right specialist?
This is actually the most critical and the core part of our business. We have a dedicated team trained for this, and we have our internal vetting and validation process. We onboard them based on referrals, testimonials, academic, social, and professional repute. And we should say that each and every consultant we onboard, we have one-on-one meeting with them, and we verify them and validate it.
Okay. And how do you decide the right specialist for each customer or each patient?
Good question. There is an AI chatbot, okay, which directs the customer to the right consultant. In addition to that, there is an advanced search option, which is based on specialty, years of experience, location, language, and few more criteria. But the key here is, it is not the Betser team who chooses the consultant for the user, whereas it is the customer who decides who is the right consultant for them based on the profile, credentials, availability, fees, and all the other criteria they want.
And yet, as it always happens, if a customer takes a decision, what happens if the customer is not satisfied?
We have a very good feedback mechanism and an NPS score measurement. Now, we ask one single question, which measures the satisfaction level. And based on this response, our team reaches back to them and finds out if there is any point of dissatisfaction, and we fix it on time. This can include a refund or scheduling a consultation with another consultant of their choice. Suppose if the concern is with user experience or some complaint regarding technology, and the team makes sure that it is addressed at the earliest, and we will go back to our client and give them the customer feedback. We give them the right feedback, what they need.
Okay. And what happens if a customer wants to consult again? Or how do you handle repeat consulting?
Got it. Understood. So repeat consultations are exactly done the same way as first consultations are done. But in this case, the clients or the users and the consultants, they get to see their previous records of the consultations done.
For non-medical services, and I think you're also doing non-medical services,
yes.
A lot of consultation is needed between the client and the expert.
Yes.
Before someone can confirm. How do you handle this?
Okay. Can you come again with your question?
So, for non-medical services.
You're saying, okay, I got it. So in this case, non-medical area, it depends. If multiple consultations are required, customers can opt for subscription plans where they will get multiple consultations for a longer period at reduced rates.
And can you talk to me a little bit about some of your subscription plans as well?
Right now, we are only on the process of that. Subscription plans can be, we are planning, they will have a case manager, one-on-one, who will take care of them right from the start to the end-to-end. So we are right now as a teleconsulting platform, but ongoing, we want it to be like a medical concierge when it comes to the medical area. And in the non-medical, it will be end to end, whatever area we can try to help them, we will do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is another aspect which is on storage of personal data and personal records.
Yes.
How do you propose to store a lot of this personal data, and how do you ensure confidentiality?
We store the personal records and data on our HIPAA compliant cloud platform, which is ensuring data protection and privacy.
Okay. So, there is a lot of debate that keeps happening on security of personal data. There's a lot of personal data that leaks out from even the most secure servers.
Very true.
How do you handle some of this?
As you rightly said, Ashutosh, this is a very loud subject, I should say. There is a lot of debate and noise happening in this area. And our platform, as I told you, is already HIPAA compliant. And we are working towards the GDPR compliance. And also being a digital platform, regulations keep emerging. So what we have to do is we need to always comply with the law. There is no compromise on that. So we are already, as a digital platform, being ready and preparing ourselves to the regulations which are coming. And on this regard, already we are taking help from the consultants on our platform, as well as few international companies.
Okay. And my last question to you, and this is for the many people who will listen to our conversation.
Sure.
What would you say are 3 lessons you want our viewers and listeners to take away from your own journey of coming from, a homemaker to brand entrepreneur and building such an interesting startup?
As time is short, I will make it very, very precise. Definitely, there are few in my mind. So one is that if somebody is starting a business, there is a lot of ways to test an idea before spending too much time and money. One. And number 2, definitely, many times people think when they start a business, they have the flexibility of time and they are their own boss. My friends, I would like to tell you, please have the mindset to be ready to work 24/7 and wear multiple hats. And lastly, I would like to say, the only person who prevents you from achieving your dreams and passion is you alone. So if you can overcome your self-limiting beliefs, and if you have strong qualities like resilience and the never give up attitude, you can definitely reach your goal. And as a person, myself, I can share one thing. Your life is your story. Write your story well.
Wonderful. And on that note, Jean, thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for talking to me about your journey, about Betserlife, about all the wonderful work that you are doing.
Yeah.
I know you are an early stage startup, and I wish you lots and lots of success in everything that you're doing with Betserlife. Thank you for speaking.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, it was definitely a great opportunity to interact with you. And also, thank you for having me on the Brand Called You channel. Thank you, Ashutosh.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.